What's up, guys? This is Ty Zen again, and I'm broadcasting from Atlanta this time. In this video, guys, I want to take a break from all the cryptocurrencies that I've been talking about and how to make money and trading and investing in cryptocurrencies, and pause for a moment, guys, and talk about a few things that I believe is even more important than making money in cryptocurrencies. And you guys know that in this series called Life's Changing Finance, I talk about some of the tools and the techniques and the strategies that I've discovered along the way to grow. Many of you guys know, or if you don't know, I grew up in I came from Vietnam and grew up in the refugee camps in Malaysia, and then grew up on worked on the farms and the sweatshops and the shipyards when I came to the U.S. And I grew up in the ghettos and the projects of Southeast Texas. Okay, so I grew up in very poor neighborhoods, and there was a lot of things that people did not tell me, or no one ever taught me. My parents, my school teachers, and no one ever taught me about how to create a life-changing amount of finances or money in my life. Okay, and if you guys notice, most of the stuff that I talk about in my series on life-changing finances, it's rare that I ever talk about the actual techniques or the details of how to make money. I talk about the attitude, the behaviors, and the mindset that you need in order to create and basically long-term viable strategies to create a life-changing finance. And in my previous one, I talk about how one of the biggest lessons that I learned from reading The Art of War by General Sun Tzu, who's considered like one of the greatest military classics in human history, right? So in that book, he talks about the three things that you need to know, or there's several things you need to know, but three of the most important things is know yourself, know your opponent, and then know the terrain or the environment in which you're dealing with. Okay, so in this second part of that series, guys, I want to talk about the lessons that I've learned about knowing your opponent or your competitor or your enemy or whoever it is that's on the other side, the opposing team, or just even in general, the people that's around you that you deal with on a regular basis, whether it's your girlfriend, your spouse, your co-workers, or your friends and things like that, okay? So I'll give you a few examples of where I went wrong, and then I'll give you some examples of where I went right or went in the appropriate direction, okay? So one of the keys to life-changing finances is knowing the people that's around you and how you interact with them on a social level and how you communicate with them, okay? So one of the mistakes that I made was when I was growing up, I did not know how to communicate effectively with the people around me because no one ever taught me, okay? It was through trial and error that I learned how to communicate in a way that will create a life-changing finance for me. So when Sun Tzu talks about knowing your enemy or your opponent or the other side, the other person that you're dealing with, right? What he's talking about is knowing the underlying motives that drive people to do what they do, okay? So I'll give you guys an example of myself. Many of you guys, if you're wondering why myself and leonfood.com broadcast and make these cryptocurrency investing videos for the last, 4 years now, okay, is because there is a part of us on the surface, right? It may seem like we are doing this to make money, which is true. We are doing it to make money. Both of us are, okay? We learn to become traders and investors in the stock market, in the futures market, and the Forex market so that we can make money. But it's not making money that is what drives us, okay? Money is just a tool that helps us to achieve an underlying motive or an ulterior motive or an underlying motivation, okay? So on the surface, if you guys just first visit our channel, you guys may think that, hey, this is just someone that's just just out there to make money. But the reality is, if that was true, we would just make the money and then not waste time sharing these videos and some of our experiences with you guys. But what you guys don't realize is that the underlying motive that pushes me, that drives me to create these videos is because I feel like that I was not put on this earth to just eat, sleep and shit and then be done with, okay? And then just go to the grave. I feel like that I was put on this earth, by God, by Buddha, by Allah, by whoever it is that you believe in, okay? I believe that I was put on this earth to make a contribution to the world, okay? So that's one of my underlying motivations and the underlying reason why I do some of these videos, because I feel like that if I make enough money, I can make a bigger difference in the world and make changes. I don't like to bitch, whine, and complain about the things I don't like in this world. I like to, if I can influence a change in it for the better, I like to be able to be a part of that. So because of that, I make these videos because I make a good profit from investing in cryptocurrencies. And I believe that if you guys watch this, my videos and Leon's videos, and you learn from it and you're able to make money, then it makes us a big change in your life, and it can possibly create a life-changing amount of finances for your personal life and your family. And then that starts to spread out into your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your families, your friends, and it starts to radiate out. So by making one simple video that could possibly influence your life for the better, you could possibly influence your friends and family's lives for the better, and that starts a chain reaction to spread out. So instead of me running around and trying to donate food or work at the homeless shelter and help everybody, I would prefer to make one video where I know that that can get 1,000 or several thousand views, and then make a bigger change in every viewer's life. Okay, so I can, with the technology that we have today, I'm recording this on my Samsung S5 phone. I'm looking forward to getting a Samsung S7 phone here shortly so that I can record better videos for you guys. But even with this Samsung S5 and my Dell laptop, my Dell mobile workstation, and my YouTube channel and my Twitter account, I can broadcast my message out to the rest of you guys, and you guys can benefit from it. So for a very little upfront cost, my phone cost I think like $600 when I bought it. The tripod that it's sitting on right now is like $20. My Dell 15-inch precision mobile workstation was like $3,000 with all the solid state drives and RAM in there. Okay, so all that right there for a very low production cost and just some time on my side, I'm able to broadcast out this message and share it with you guys that could potentially change your life. And so the underlying motive that pushes me to be up late at night or early in the morning making these videos for you guys is that sense of that I want to be able to contribute to other people's lives. Okay, so that's one of the underlying motivations that pushes me to do what I do. The other reason that I do these videos is that it helps me make money. People help contribute, and you guys send me ICOs and new cryptos that are coming out that I would not have heard about unless you guys sent it to me and put it in the comment sections or send it to me via Twitter. So that's how I learn about new ICOs and new cryptocurrencies as well. Okay, so the money that I make from investing in cryptocurrencies, it allows me to gives me the freedom. Okay, that's like one of my biggest motivation or drivers, is that it gives me the freedom to do what the hell I want to do and to do it any time I want to do it. Okay, so because of that, I'm able to do this. Okay, if you guys wonder why we do this, it's the same way. Now let me give you an example of leonfu.com. Right, he grew up in the technology world. He did not grow up in a rich family either, right? And just through learning software development and how to code, right, he's able to make a good living for himself and make a six-figure income for himself ever since he came out of high school. Okay, so ever since before he even came out of college, he was already working for the big banking institutions in Manhattan, in New York, and making a six-figure income already while he was in college. So because of that, he feels like, and when I first met LeonFood.com, he was already retired for about, I think like 7 or 8 years, 9 years. When I met him, he was already retired. He made a bunch of money working for the institutions after he came out of college, right, in New York. And after that, he retired after the market crash in the year 2000, after the dot-com bubble bursted. He moved down to the city of Austin in the state of Texas, and the cost of living was significantly lower there. So he was able to take the money that he had saved up working in Manhattan and just pretty much live off of those savings and just retire at a very young age. And that's when I met him. And he was the one who helped me see that there are ways to make a life-changing amount of finance. So we've been helping each other look for ways to create life-changing finance ever since we became friends many years ago. Okay, so now he realizes that technology has created a life-changing amount of finance for him in his life, and be able to retire young and be able to do things in his life and travel all around the world. Like I have traveled all over the U.S. to almost pretty much every major city in America and vacation and have fun there. And so because of that, he has always been a big believer that technology is a big driver and a big component in creating someone's life-changing amount of finance. Okay, so because of that, he also, on the surface, when you guys watch him talk or watch him and I debate over certain cryptocurrencies or invest in cryptocurrencies, right, you might think that he's just in it for making money. But if you guys look at the underlying driver or the motivation or the reason why underneath the surface, you'll realize that the reason why he's doing it is because he has a sense of contribution and sharing also. So that's his main motivation why, and his main reason why to do this. So sometimes we'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning making videos or recording stuff for you guys. And you guys may not be aware that it's at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? Sometimes at the end of the video, you'll hear him saying, hey, I gotta get to sleep. And that's when you'll know that it's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when we record those sessions, okay? But he and I both share a common underlying value and an underlying theme and an underlying motivation and an underlying reason why we do these cryptocurrency investing videos the way we do. So that's the reason why you guys see us have a good, what do you call that? A good synergy and a good harmony in what we're doing on our channel, simply because we both believe in the same thing and we both have the same fuel and the same motivation to drive us to do this. So even though sometimes, my wife will get on my ass about me making these cryptocurrency videos, and his girlfriend jumps on him about, talking to me about cryptocurrencies while they're at dinner or something like that, that underlying reason why pushes us a lot harder, okay? Now, when you guys don't understand that and you guys approach us about doing things like, many people approach us about doing MLMs and doing other business opportunities and stuff inside the cryptocurrency space, and we're not interested because, one, it goes against our willing to contribute to other people. Right now, we got to get people to go out there and recruit other people and stuff. So that goes against our beliefs and our motivation and the reasons why we do what we do here on this channel. Okay, so I'm just sharing that with you guys so you guys know that it's important to know the people that you're dealing with, know their reasons why and their motivation for doing things that they do. So this helps you to communicate with them. And let me give you examples of when I was teaching art, right? Many of you guys know that I was an art teacher before. I used to teach art before, and I had a student who, at that time I was younger, I was in my 20s, I didn't fully understand how to understand other people's like I do now. So because of that, this student I had, right, she was, and I'd say she, guys, it could be a he or she. I'm just going to use she in this example, okay? But she was a student who always wanted to get published. It was very important to her to get her artwork published in the magazines like Cosmopolitan, like Vogue, like GQ, just any popular mainstream publication or magazine, Wall Street Journal, in Bloomberg, just anything that was very well known and mainstream, okay? And if she could ever get her artwork shown at a display at a museum or something like that, that would be even better. Okay, so she was always trying to get her artwork that she was doing into museums, into places like that. And the reason why she did that was because her underlying reason why, or her motivation, on the surface, when she's in class, she just wants to become a good artist. But underneath it, right, on the surface, it looks like she wants to become a good artist and get paid for her artwork. But if you look at the underlying reason why underneath it, right, you'll see that it's a different reason. Her reason was recognition. She wanted to be recognized for her artwork, her creativity, and all these things, and the effort she put in to become an artist. Now, my motivation for teaching art was just contribution, just to share what I know and make a change in other people's lives, and that I was not put on this earth just to eat, sleep and crap, okay? So because of that, I love teaching art. Now, the reason that my student wanted to do it was because she wanted to be recognized. So even though I told her, she did a great job with her artwork, and other students in the class told her she did a great job with her artwork, in her mind, she did not have the recognition that she wanted until she was, published in like a Cosmopolitan or Vogue magazine or a famous fashion magazine, or she was her artwork was displayed at an art gallery or at a museum so that the public can see it. That way she can tell people that her artwork was in a museum or in an art gallery. Now, that was her motivation and her reason why to do things. So if I would have understood her better, I think that, we could have have a better art teacher relationship, and I could have really helped her become a better artist. Because at that time, every time she tried to get her artwork into a museum or a gallery or something, my thought was that she just wanted to make money. So I would always tell her, why are you wasting time doing that for? There's a bunch of people over here that's willing to pay you for your artwork. Why don't you just paint the stuff or do the stuff that they want, and they'll pay you. But instead, she was always pushing to get into the museums and the galleries, and I didn't see how she could make money from that. And at that time, there was a lot of conflict, and there was a lot of communication conflict, and we were always butting heads when it comes to art, because I thought that she was trying to make money from her artwork, and I was trying to show her how to make money from her artwork, because I don't believe in being a starving artist. So there was a bunch of different strategies that I teach my art students in order to make money from their artwork and not be a stereotypical starving artist, okay? But we never could work together, and our ideas, and I was not able to help her, even though I could have helped her get into an art gallery or a museum very easily. I did not do it, and I was not able to help her achieve her goals simply because I did not know her very well. So like Sun Tzu said, know your opponents, know your enemy. In this particular case, it's one of my students, and I did not know her very well, okay? So that's another example right there. Another example I want to share with you guys is that I used to have a friend who practices martial arts, and he was always wanting to compete professionally, like go in there into the cage, into the mixed martial arts, and get his butt kicked, okay, or kick somebody else's butt and get his face punched in, or punch somebody else's face in. Now, I love to study the martial arts. I happen to be born and gifted in that arena so that I can learn it very quickly and easily. However, I had never once had the intention of going into a cage or into a boxing ring and fight somebody. Okay, I learned it because I just like it. I grew up watching Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and all them guys, and I'm Asian, so it's probably in my blood to like martial arts. So I've always liked it. I've always liked to, learn how to fight with a stick, a knife, with a sword. It's crazy. I don't spend enough time practicing it, but, I enjoy it, right? So Bruce Lee was one of my heroes growing up. So I found out that he studied Wing Chun, so I always wanted to learn Wing Chun. But I never once had the intention to go and fight another man or another person in the ring. I learned it mostly for self-defense and just to stay in shape and for self-defense. It's a hobby, just like people who go play flag football. They're not doing it for money. They like it because they enjoy the sport, okay? People play basketball on the weekends because they enjoy it, not because they want to be a professional basketball player. So the same thing with me. I never had any dreams or any aspirations to become a professional fighter, okay? However, my friend who trained the martial arts, he always wanted, his goal was to be in the UFC and fight in the UFC. Okay. However, his age got to him, and by the time he was old enough or experienced enough to be fighting at that level, his age caught up to him, and he was too old. Okay, so that did not work out. But he was always, for years, for over a decade, he struggled to get into the UFC, and he did everything he could, eat, train, and he's made a whole lot of sacrifices in his personal work, his relationships to get there. And the whole time, I thought that he was trying to get there into the UFC so that he can make money. Because I told him, I don't see how getting paid $1,000 to show up for a fight and getting paid another $1,000 to win a fight in a mixed martial arts fight. I don't see how making $2,000 or $3,000 is worth all the months and years of training to be able to go in there and fight someone, right? So there was always communication conflicts and friction between me and my friend, because in my mind, I'm thinking that the guy wants to be in the UFC so he can make money. However, what I did not realize when I got to understand more about knowing the people you deal with was that on the surface, it looked like he wanted to be in the UFC and be recognized and be famous as a UFC fighter and make money. But on the underlying reason, the underlying motivation, the underlying reason why he wanted to do that was because, he never, I discovered that he wanted to leave a legacy to his family. He's not academically inclined like myself, and he always wanted to leave a legacy to his family, his parents, his kids, his spouse, everything, and show that even though he was not academically inclined, he was capable of doing great things and achieving big things in his life. Okay, so now that I understand that, so every time we talk about something, I can hit him and talk to him in that and communicate to him at that below the surface level so that we have a better communication. Okay, so the reason why I share that with you is that a lot of times I share these examples with you guys on where I messed up and where I did it right was that it helps you a lot. I worked with a individual when I was at the gym, when I was the lead personal trainer at the biggest Gold's Gym in Texas, right? It was located in North Austin. When I worked there, one of my managers, I knew that on the surface, it looked like, he was trying to be, he'd walk around a gym with his chest all puffed out and everything. He wanted to be a tough guy. But underneath it, I can recognize very quickly that because he was a young guy, he was only in his mid-20s at that time, and he was in a position where he was managing the biggest Gold's Gym in Texas, right, which is a very, very big gym, okay? It was like the third largest Gold's Gym in the world at that time. And so because of that, he wanted to be recognized as someone that was competent at doing his job, even though he was new to it, okay? So when I communicated to him, I always made sure and reassured him and gave him praise for doing a good job, okay? And he always liked me. So out of all, even though the way that I trained people at the gym was completely different in how he and the other trainers would normally do it, he never gave me a hard time about it. And he never gave me a hard time about my work schedule or anything like that, simply because I was always communicating to him in a way that appealed to him, because it appealed to his underlying motivation and his underlying reason, his underlying why he was doing things the way he did. Okay, so in public, whenever we had a staff meeting or something, I would always congratulate him on doing things that was good for the gym, for the members and everything. So by publicly praising him for doing a good managerial job in his position, it always made us, even though we were never friends or anything, we always had a great working relationship together, simply because we communicated. I was able to communicate to him in a way that reached to his inner core, his subconscious, basically. Okay, so that's those are the things. Those are the examples, guys, that I want to share with you. Okay, so I hope you guys learn from it, from my experiences and from my mistakes, and know how to communicate with other people that can help you possibly create a life-changing amount of finances and be able to effectively help yourself and your family. Okay, So this is the second part of Sun Tzu's lessons about knowing yourself. And in this video here, we talked about knowing your opponent and knowing how to communicate with them at a level where they will like you, okay, and want to help you. And then in the next video, guys, in the third video, I will talk about the knowing your terrain and knowing your environment and the places that you're in so that you know how to deal with it, okay? Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you guys like these, this is a fork, a hard fork off of my normal videos where I talk about investing in cryptocurrencies and stuff and trading and investing in cryptocurrencies, guys. If you guys like these type of videos, give me a thumbs up, all right? If you guys don't like them, give me a thumbs down so I'll know not to waste time making them. So far, everybody's giving me a bunch of thumbs up, and there's a bunch of views on these life-changing videos. So as long as that's there, I'm going to continue making it. And then if I see that if you guys change your mind, then I'll stop making them. Okay, so thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in a future video.